Pixie Dust and Pumpkin Spice podcast, where every day is Halloween and every night is a magical adventure. Welcome back, everyone, to a spine-chilling episode of Pixie Dust and Pumpkin Spice After Hours. I'm Nick, your guide through the eerie and enchanting worlds of Disney, Universal, and all things Halloween. In our last episode, we kicked off our series on Halloween Horror Nights Orlando, diving into its rich history and highlighting some of the most anticipated scare zones and haunted houses of 2024. Today, we're continuing our deep dive, answering your burning questions and exploring more fun Halloween experiences. So grab your pumpkin spice latte and let's get started. First, let's tackle some of the fantastic answers we received from our last episode. Then we'll move into some questions we received from our listeners. Thank you all for your enthusiastic participation. The first question we asked you was, what has been your most memorable experience at Halloween Horror Nights and why? I'll kick it off. Mine was in 2015 when I went to Halloween Horror Nights for the first time with my mom. I had been wanting to go for so long, and it's literally all because of my friend Lindsay, who also loves all the spooky things like I do. On a side note, I miss her so much. But back to the story. She had told me about Halloween Horror Nights from when she was younger, and how you smell the smells of the musty basement where the family members have been buried, or the rotting meat in a butcher scene in one of the haunted houses. How she felt like Michael Myers was following her from room to room in the house, and then to the backyard. He was literally there every single time she turned around. And I just knew I needed this in my life. My mom, who is always up to go on an adventure with me, to a park or experience something I bring up, packed up our walking shoes and off we went. We had a great time at Disneyland and did all the fun cutesy Halloween stuff, and then we made our way to Universal. This was my first time experiencing Halloween Horror Nights, and also my first time experiencing Universal Studios Hollywood. And at first I thought, wow, this is way smaller than Universal Studios in Orlando, and that's what I'm used to. But when the lights started flickering, the fog rolled in, and the chainsaw started up, I thought this was the best experience ever. What made it even better was I got to see my cousin who I hadn't seen in years, and oddly I haven't seen him since. I just remember my mom and I laughing because he was terrified and clamoring to catch up to me as I was leading the way with my mom in tow. It was amazing. But since then, I've been pretty much every year except for those dreaded years we don't talk about. And I can't say that I've ever gone and had a bad experience with anyone that I've taken. However, my friend Mindy goes with me religiously now, and she is so fun. We have our routine now. We Uber to Universal Studios, we eat at Margaritaville and City Walk, we get Bumblebee Man tacos, and we stop and get some frozen Bahama Mamas from the Island New Bar many times a night. So we can walk around with our drinks, and it is just a blast. Good or bad, we also take a seat in the scare zones and like to watch everybody getting frightened and chased by all the scare actors. That's pretty fun. That's how we end our night. We just sit and people watch. We watch all the scare actors chasing people around and all the people screaming. Here's a response submitted by Lori.
My most memorable experience at Halloween Horror Nights would be the RIP tour. The reason being, the lines for the haunted houses are always so long. You would be lucky if you get through them all. With the RIP pass, we were able to go through all of the haunted houses and even see a show. That was pretty awesome. Thanks.
Our next question was, which scare zone or haunted house are you most excited to experience this year? Mindy sent in this voice message to share.
I'm beyond excited for the Terror Tram this year. There's nothing like walking through the back lot with all of those eerie characters lurking around, especially when they start chasing you with chainsaws. The thrill of being in that environment, surrounded by classic horror film sets, is something I look forward to every year. Stopping at the Bates house always gives me chills. It's such an iconic spot. One of my favorite memories has to be when Nick and I were trying to hide our drinks because we knew they weren't allowed. We ended up finishing them just in time before meeting with Norman. It was such a fun, nerve-wracking experience that just added to the whole night. This year, I'm ready for whatever scares they have in store.
Honestly, my favorites are always the Universal Classic Monsters. With that being said, I do feel like after listening to the podcasts, Monstros will be a really immersive house, and I think I'll really enjoy it. Our third question was, if you could create your own scare zone or haunted house, what theme would you choose, and what kind of scares would you include? Lori submitted this to us, but first, let me read you a short story she wrote about this haunted house. Okay, let me set the scene for you. Thank you for joining us on our ghostly tour. Today we have booked a very interesting stay indeed. Welcome to the Bella Blue House. The Bella Blue House was built by a very loving father for his daughter, after Bella's mother tragically passed. When Bella was just a young girl, pirates raided her home, taking Bella and killing her father. The pirate captain quickly came to adore the sassy little girl. One by one, he challenged his entire crew, killing them all, hiding his ship and precious loot in the sea caves beneath the house. The pirate captain took the home as his own, along with his precious new jewel, Bella Blue. Bella herself became a rebel under the tutelage of her new father figure. She hated the pirate captain and did everything she could to get away from him. She ran away, but was found and returned to her captor. Later, she poisoned his tea stores. Again, she ran away. This time, the pirate captain was too old to hunt for her, so he simply waited. About a year later, a monster of a man rang the doorbell and scared the pirate captain to death. Bella returned only after she'd heard the news of his death. Finally, feeling safe, she returned to her home. It has been long debated what happened to the infamous Bella Blue that night, but stories say she was followed and murdered by Jack the Ripper. Her body was found days later, cut up with her heart removed and cooked in a pot by the fireplace, a single slice missing. Some say they can still hear her laugh echoing in the halls. Some see her walking the grounds at night, and some say they see her on the cliff, in search of her father's hidden body. Now let me play you the voice message.
I would create a haunted house set in an old Victorian house built on a cliff. At the front door, Jack the Devil. In the parlor, the poison tea room. In the dining room, dueling pirates. In the bedroom would be Jack the Ripper with a boiling pot in the fireplace. And below the house would be a cave.
Our last question we asked last episode was, how do you think Halloween Horror Nights could continue to evolve and improve in the future? And I must say, Mindy had a great response for this one. I hope you're listening, Halloween Horror Nights.
I think Halloween Horror Nights could be even better if they set up stations for adult face painting, where you could get movie makeup effects to look like a zombie or a character from a horror movie. It would really add to the immersive experience. They could also include more photo opportunities with characters from the movies and the haunted houses. Imagine getting a picture with your favorite horror icon right after surviving one of the haunts. That would be so cool.
One of our listeners asked, what's the best way to navigate the haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights to minimize wait times? I think that's a great question. One of the best strategies is to arrive early and hit the most popular houses first. Again, we don't want to wait in lines, so I would consider purchasing an express pass. This can significantly reduce your wait times, and I've been able to hit every single haunted house in one night with the express pass. If you're up to treat yourself, I recommend the RIP tour, which offers VIP access to all the haunted houses, allowing you to skip the lines entirely and get exclusive behind-the-scenes insights. Sarah said, "My kids loved the daytime activities at Islands of Adventure. They had a blast trick-or-treating and meeting their favorite characters in costume. And honestly, this makes me wonder what family-friendly activities are available at Universal during Halloween. I have never seen any activities going on other than Halloween Horror Nights, so this is something I'm definitely going to look into and maybe take my niece." Another listener, Mark, said the Twisted Taters were my favorite, and the themed cocktails really added to the experience. Make sure you try them. But are there any special food and drink offerings at Halloween Horror Nights that I should try? My answer to this is absolutely. Halloween Horror Nights is known for its themed food and drink offerings that add to the immersive experience. You'll find everything from creepy confections like pumpkin guts to savory snacks like Twisted Taters. Don't miss any of the specialty cocktails and mocktails available at the various bars throughout the event. And for those with a sweet tooth, there are plenty of Halloween-themed treats like candy corn ice cream and spooky cupcakes. The only thing I was disappointed with last year was I bought a couple of creepy mini cheesecakes. They really weren't that great. But trying out whatever food I can get my hands on is always a highlight for me, so I definitely recommend grabbing all the creepy treats. Now, let's dive into more fun Halloween happenings beyond Halloween Horror Nights. If you're a Disney fan, you won't want to miss Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Magic Kingdom. It's a family-friendly event filled with trick-or-treating, the Boo to You Halloween Parade, which I absolutely love, the Hocus Pocus Villains Spelltacular, and of course meet and greets with your favorite Disney characters in their Halloween costumes. For those of you who love immersive experiences, definitely check out the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disney California Adventure. This event features an immersive trick-or-treat trail, the Villains Grove, and the Oogie Boogie Bash Parade. It's a spooktacular time for the whole family. And for our haunted house enthusiasts, don't forget about local haunted attractions. Many cities have incredible independent haunted houses, corn mazes, and spooky trails that offer unique scares and experiences. These can be a great way to get into the Halloween spirit without the big theme park crowds. Lastly, let's talk about some DIY fun. Hosting a Halloween movie night with classics like Hocus Pocus, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Beetlejuice can be a hit with friends and family. Don't forget the themed snacks and decorations to set the mood. Speaking of fun Halloween-themed movie nights, one of my close friends' teen daughters texted me and asked if she could come over and do Halloween things with me. She sent me a list of things to do and even more on Instagram Reels. All these activities we could never do in one night. So I had both of them over, invited my niece, who thankfully loves Halloween as much as I do, and we made cookies, ate dinner. I took them downstairs to the movie room. I had decorated it as best I could with the Halloween decorations I had laying around the house, and they were in love. They went home super excited about our night, and my friend texted me letting me know how much fun they had had. Before they left, we made sure to talk about doing another Halloween activity and movie night sometime this month, so I definitely can't wait for that. That wraps up today's episode of Pixie Dust and Pumpkin Spice After Hours. I hope you enjoyed our follow-up on Halloween Horror Nights Orlando and our dive into more Halloween fun. Keep those questions coming and stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore even more haunted houses, scare zones, and Halloween events. If you have memories, spooky stories, or questions about these haunted houses and scare zones at Halloween Horror Nights, I'd love to hear from you. Got a travel question, a Halloween story, or even a crafty idea you want to share? Drop me an email or send me a voice message to pixiedustpumpkinspice@gmail.com, and you might be featured on our Pixie Dust and Pumpkin Spice After Hours episode. Don't forget to follow us on social media for the latest updates, tips, and tricks for your Halloween adventures. And subscribe to the Pixie Dust and Pumpkin Spice podcast for more spine-chilling content, travel tips, and magical stories. Until next time, stay spooky, my friends. This is Nick, signing off with a sprinkle of pixie dust and a dash of pumpkin spice.